Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters. So I am participating in Janet's 4 for 4 Baby Round series, and this is my layout number 3. So, in this round she used... What technique did she use? I honestly can't remember, sorry. But she essentially had a big strip of paper, like in the Happy Horizontal, that she was putting down her page. Now, I really wanted to use this wood grain Scrub the Deck paper, but I really loved the coloured X marks the spots on the other side. So I just got another piece of plain white cards, 12 by 12 paper, the thinner kind of paper, and I'm just going to stick all of that on together and use a border sticker, that's the word I'm looking for, to fill up any gap. But then I realized that border sticker is no good because it's too short. It's not the full 12 by 12 length. Thanks, Echo Park. So this is called Pirate's Life by Echo Park. I'm using a small snippet of stuff out of there. That's where the paper is from, and then I use some of their stickers. And I also use a bunch of paper and ephemera from New Day Dear Lizzie collection. So I grabbed this red border sticker instead because even though it's too short, it's closer to being 12 by 12. It's like only a millimeter too short. So I decided I'll go with that one as well. So when I was having a look at Janet's layout, she used her border punch to create this really gorgeous effect down the side of her page. So I'm thinking I might do that as well. So I'm having a look at the different bits of pattern paper I've got, looking at the A side and the B side, pretty quickly working out what ones are going to work and what ones are not. So far I'm really loving that dark teal and the black. And pretty much every other colour is just getting trashed straight away because it's just too pritsy, the patterns are too matchy, like too the same size, or they're just the wrong colour. So that's pretty simple. I've narrowed it down to those two straight away because I don't want... see how in the black and the teal, both of their sort of pattern is a similar size. It's on that smaller scale, whereas the crosses are a really big size. So I don't want to use like the butterflies or something like that because they're the same size as the crosses were. Also, just the butterflies didn't match what I was going for here. So I'm just having a look at the red stripe to see if I still like that. And I also think that black ribbon looks really great. Oh, sorry. So it's either the black ribbon with the teal or the red stripe with the black, basically, is where I'm at. And I decided I didn't like the red stripe. That was essentially what was throwing me off here. Didn't really go with the feel I was having. So I decided I'm going to put that red stripe back. Just too many patterns. The arrows were a pattern, and then the crosses were a pattern, and then the red stripe was another pattern. It was just getting too busy, too cluttered. So I decided I'm going to go with the dark green because, yes, of course, there is a pattern in that. It's a lot more subtle. It's not something that's going to catch your eye so much. So I'm cutting down this paper. I know I'm going to make a Project Life spread using these papers, so I'm just cutting this into 2 4x6 cards now so that they're ready to go. And I know that I've only got this much, which is what, 2 by 12? Yeah, 2 by 12 to make my little decoration with my border punch. So in Janet's, she used, I think, 3 layers or 3 strips of paper that she cut out with her border punch. So I want to try and do the same thing. So I got my American Craft knockouts. These are the only border punches I own, which is not to say none, like there's heaps there. I've got 6 border punches, but they're not the intricate, sort of detailed ones like the Martha Stewart's or something like that. But in this case, this worked perfectly fine for me because I really wanted this one that I'm using because it looks a bit like waves, and it's just that scalloped edge effect. So I'm just punching through. It's quite loud, so I can only do this when my boys are awake, because otherwise I would probably wake Tom up, because he is in the room right to my left, like 10 steps away. And it's very loud bang each time you push down. So I do have to be careful of that. So I'm going to cut 3 of these off screen. I'm just cutting this one on screen with you. And yeah, so I trim the paper down so I have 3 of them. So I'm going to flash back in a minute. I will have stuck the wood grain paper down using double-sided score tape. And now I'm using wet glue, white glue, to stick on my little waves. And I changed my mind about the black ribbon. I decided to go with this pink branding strip, because you can see off to my right there, I've actually pulled out a couple of bits and bobs that I'm thinking I want to include on my layout, and they've got some pink in them. And so there's the pink sort of peace sign fingers there, and then the pink tag. And if I want to use those, that's 2 bits of pink. And I'd really like a 3rd piece of pink as well. So I decided to use the branding strip in pink, which it looks red on the camera here, but it's definitely pink. And that's just going to tie all the pinks in together. So there are my 3 waves causing, so the purpose of that is it gives a little bit of texture off to the left-hand side. And I just like the theme of it for me, going with my water ship theme. Because have I showed you my photos yet? I don't think you really have. They're a picture of my little man. He's at school playing in the school sandpit, or daycare, playing in the sandpit, and he's went and got the big sandpit toy tub and sat in it and said he was a boat. He was in a boat. So that's hence why I'm going with sort of the nautical theme here. Now, I have been hoarding this collection. My sister gave it to me, I think in the 2017. I think the 2017 December Daily. I think. Might have even been 2016. But no, I think 2017 December Daily. So I've been hoarding it for a very long time. And it was time to start using it. So this is the 2nd piece of paper I have used from this collection. The other one I used not that long ago, actually. And this is the first time I've used any of these stickers or anything like that. So I'm finally starting to crack into this kind of stuff. I am dreadful. If it's too beautiful to use, I struggle to use it. But I'm getting better at just jumping in and using things. So yay me. So I have got my 2 photos there. And then I don't know why I wanted that peace sign. I just thought it was cool. So I wanted to put that on. And again, if you've seen Janet's layout, she creates her own embellishments using those scalloped pieces. And I am definitely going to give that a try as well. So here is my twine. And you can see I'm using embroidery floss. You can see at the top I've already done one. So that yellow, on the top left-hand side on my peace sign, that is what I'm going to be creating. So Janet suggests using a scallop punch with quite a deep bump to it. Now, I thought mine had quite a deep bump, but when I tried to do that yellow one, or the blue and yellow one, they kept falling off. It wasn't really holding very well. So I improvised, and I am cutting my bumps deeper. So in between, like where they bump down in together, the points, I'm just cutting those a little bit deeper. And so that's where my threads are going to stick into. Now, Janet has an excellent explanation on how to make these. I'm not going to even try to do as good a job as she has. I will link her layout down below so that you can learn how to do it. But essentially, the scallops have an even number. Mine have a lot. Hers had 14. I have a lot more than 14, but it's still an even number. And you skip 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pop your ribbon or your twine behind the 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, go behind and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, go behind and turn. So that is essentially how you make your scallops, and you just keep going, your scallop stars, and you just keep going around and around and around and around until you get back to the start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, around and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, around and turn. So you always want to skip 4 bumps. Again, please head over to her channel to see that in more detail. She holds it to the camera better, she explains it better, she does it more slowly. She's just the bomb. She's the one. I'm just totally stealing it from her. So definitely head on over and check hers out. I chose to use embroidery floss because I liked the different colors this added to my page. I also put, so that one there is one small scallop. The other two are a larger scallop with a smaller scallop inside. In my case, that made no difference. You cannot tell that there are 2 scallops in there whatsoever because all of my embroidery floss covered the smaller scallop. So I could have just used one big scallop and you wouldn't even know any different. But anywho, I then decided after I'd finished that I wanted to put some decoration in the middles, in the centers, because it looks cute, like what Janet did. And I'm just having a play around with the different heights. So on the large ones, I popped it up on foam in the center, but on the small one, I just stuck it directly down to the middle. The small one could only fit that one round sticker that came off the Pirate's Life sticker, 12 by 12 sticker sheet. So I am going to show you this one more time. So cutting in between each of the bumps just to make it a bit deeper, so that the string has somewhere to grip to, and it's not just going to pop off the edge of the scallop. There are close-up photos at the end, so also feel free. Oh, I am yawning up a storm. I am so sorry. Feel free to pop forward to that if you want to see that. Color choices are, apart from pink, they're sort of the main colors that are standing out in this layout. This red one probably should have been pink, but it's going on top of a pink tag, so I didn't want to do that, so I put it on the red instead. So sticking that down, it's good to have your washi tape already ready, mostly for the end. So when you get to the last one, you don't have to put it down and then pull a piece of washi tape and risk all of your your wrapping and turning coming undone. You don't have to let it go. It's already there ready for you. So it doesn't matter where you start. Then you count 4 bumps, pop it underneath the 5th bump and turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, wrap it around and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, wrap it around and turn. So you're pulling it to the back of the scallop and then back through to the front and counting 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, pull it to the back through to the front, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull it to the back through to the front, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you might be able to see every now and then I turn it over to check that it's sort of making a whole line of embroidery thross all the way around the back of the scallop, and you'll know when you're done because you're meeting back where you started, and there's, just as Janet says, there's one piece of pie left on the back, and that's how you know you are finished. Please go over and check out hers. I can't say that enough. My explanation is just bleh. So popping my middle in on here, I'm moving on because I just can't beat her. She's better. And it is time to get embellishing. I'm just having a play, what I want where, how I want to do it. I like those 2 better switched over. So I backed my photos with just plain white, nothing special. Excuse me. I had this one little bit of this. Oh, itchy nose. I had this one little bit of craft edging that I wanted to use. It's not the length of a 12 by 12, so it needs to sort of embellish under photos or something like that anyway. It was pretty much the perfect size to go under these 2. And that craft colour I haven't really used at all on this page, but I thought it was fairly similar to match up with the wood grain. So I was just going to pop it on and roll with that, and just sort of pretend that I did use it more than once. Whoops, my bad. This glue is generally really good, but I left it sitting too long and didn't put the pin in the lid, so in the top, in the point, so it's got a little bit clogged up. So I just needed to grab my needle and unclog that. So as most of you know, with those fine nozzled glues, if you leave them for too long without putting the pin down the center to push away the excess glue, it does sort of dry there a little bit and get a bit clogged up. So it's important that if you know you're going to stop and walk away for a little while, that you pack your glue up properly, which I didn't. So just sticking my foam on the back of these two photos and popping those up. So cute. What am I going to do now? Looking, fiddling. Oh, I want a little bit of string for the end of that pink tag, because I like to put string in each of the tags. I did just pop off to burn the ends of that string because it's a little bit plasticky. That's the new word. And so it just completely unfrazed, like instantly. As soon as you cut it, it like goes pew, and a little like centimeters worth of the string comes untangled, and you can't stop it. It's not like the cotton twine. So I was just burning the ends a little bit to melt it together. So I decided, as well, as you could already see, because I've already pulled those out, that I wanted to use a little bit more of the wood veneer that came in this kit. This is the Love Always wood veneer from Cocoa Vanilla. It's cute. I like it. So I have 3 of those to go with my 3 clusters. Otherwise, they'd kind of look a little bit odd on this layout because they don't really go with like the story that this layout is telling, but they do because they're all about love, kiss, hug, love hearts, all of that, and I love my little man. And there's 3 of them, so it makes it look like it's more cohesive and more like it should be there, which works for me because that's what I'm going for. So popping these all down, gluing some and using foam for some and using double-sided tape for some, all just a little bit of everything happening on this layout today. So because of the height of that scalloped star, I needed to put the wood veneer up on foam because I really wanted the wood veneer on top of that scallop star. I love different layers, so I had to work out, which one was going where, and I wanted the wood veneer on top, not underneath. And then also need foam on these. I got distracted, sorry, because I'm like, what am I doing now? Foam on this other wood veneer because, again, it's going on top of the of the scallop star as well. So I'm just having a look if there's any other bits and bobs I want to use, and I'm thinking the tiny word phrases would be good. I have tiny word phrases that came with my kit, but they're not theme specific. So I like the idea of using these ones because they're theme specific and they go with the whole set sail and pirate's life and ahoy and all of that. So I go with that. And then I realize after I picked the first 2 that I actually want to go with color as well as words. So I change it up to get a yellow one because I really like the idea of some yellow happening down in that cluster, because there's a little bit of yellow with the kiss hug, and I want to keep the yellow going because there's also a little bit of yellow in that scallop. Both of the scallop stars have yellow, and so I want a 3rd piece of yellow down there as well to keep the 3 going. So I mentioned before, I'm not really sure why I'm so determined to use this peace sign. I just really like it. So it's gone on there. I don't know, maybe 2 and there's 2 boys. I don't know. I just like it. So I'm just popping on that scallop star. I'm I'm moving it just a tiny bit because it was holding the photo down, and I don't want the photo to be pushed down. I want the photo to be up. I realized that love heart is getting a bit lost. I actually kind of wanted it on top of this scallop, but it would be way too hard because the scallop itself is on foam, and then the middle inside circle bit is on foam. So if I was trying to foam that wood veneer up, it would need to have double foam, and it's so super thin that was going to be too hard. So I ended up putting it flat, but over on the other side, so it didn't get lost in amongst all the flowers and everything on the peace sign. So it took me ages to work out which stickers I want to use, so I did all that off screen because it took way too long. It says rub a dub, dub, 2 boys, and then down underneath in a tub. It's hard to see here in the film, but in real life it's much easier to see. And I decided I wanted to try and use a little bit more ephemera. I thought it was looking a bit flat, a bit lacking. So I pulled out the sticker sheet again to see what other like boat specific ephemera I could use. But I really struggled with this to get things to look right. I really loved this steering wheel, and I tried it in a few spots, but it either got lost or it either did one or the other. It either overpowered the thing, like that kind of ruined the whole effect of what I'd already done with the star, or it got lost on the page. So I end up giving up on it and putting it back, and I end up just going, you know what, the layout's fine. Leave it alone. Put away the embellishments and get out your rhinestones. Rhinestones save everything. So I pulled out my coloured rhinestones. I do have one last quick look. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? Maybe a butterfly? Maybe, no. Rhinestones. So I pull out the rhinestones and I glue those on as well. So I don't just trust the adhesive on these anymore. And I try and go with colours in 3s. Colours that sort of go with the layout and go with what's going on. So just make little visual triangles out of those as well. So, and also sizes. I don't want the same sizes together. Gosh, I'm not picky at all. So 3 different colours, 3 different sizes, and match those in together in the 3 different spots. And there are my visual triangles. So I've been really enjoying this 4for4 series of Janet's. This is the first time I've participated. I always watch them, but I've never done them before. And gosh, no golly, did it make for quick pages. I think this is the most scrapbooking I've done in a month in forever. So thank you, Janet, for motivating me to get going and for making these pages so quick and easy, and for designing such amazing pages that I wanted to scrap lift you in the first place. It was awesome. So I've got one more layout to come, layout number 4. Linked down below is Janet's layout 3, so this layout that I copied. She also has a Facebook group on Facebook called, I don't know, Love RTS or something like that, RTS Love, which is run by a lady called Dawn. So if you're interested, I recommend joining that group. It's really fun. I hope you like the scallop stars I made there, my little waves. In the close-up video, you can see there actually where I've put little snips in the scallops so that the twine can sit further in. And I just found that worked really well for holding the twine, or holding the embroidery thread in my case, onto the page. So there is my layout. Everything is linked down below that you might need, so pop on down over there. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Please stay tuned for layout number 4 that will be coming up soon. I can't remember what it is. Oh, the block design. And yeah, I hope you like it. So please like, please subscribe. Please check out my next ones. If you haven't seen layout 1s and 2s of this 4for4 series, head back and watch layout 1 and 2 as well. Thanks everyone. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.